Well, addressing things as they rise is just part of my job because you will always come across situations which you cannot predict. And it's a contact sport. People get injured, people are available. Sometimes they're not available. You're addressing Keaton Parks. He's a huge piece of the squad, of course. We would rather have him on the pitch, but that goes for all our players to stay available in order to get the best matches played like we want to play. Establishing a certain culture, the way of training, the way we want to play in and out of possession is something that we try to mold every day. And throughout this whole process, consistency is what we're looking for. This team has showed inconsistency last season. They've also shown inconsistent matches in this season, so we haven't got that under control yet. But that is part of the process that we're trying to achieve all over. So, and how far we are in 14 matches, I think we've played quite a few decent matches. You see that the defensive stability is there, the attacking outcome is growing game by game, but not at a level that we would like to see it yet. So there's much work to be done still.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miles? Head Coach
Hi.
Miles Bolton, AM New York. Aidan O'Neill says he enjoys playing for you. I was wondering if you could speak on what you've seen from him so far, specifically in his leadership off the pitch as a former captain.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, but I understand why you asked me this question because he is a former captain in his previous two clubs. On the other hand, you have to understand how it works in a dressing room as well. Aidan is 26. He came to New York in order to help the team and be part of our dressing room. We know he has these qualities. On the other hand, these things go by nature. So what you perform on the pitch will help you in the dressing room. So he's busy trying to make sure that the rest of the team understands him and he understands the rest of the team. And the rest will come in a natural way. And so will his leadership qualities on and off the pitch. They will develop themselves in a natural way as well.
We'll go to the Zoom. George?
Coach, congrats on your first Derby win.
Thank you.
I have two questions. One is, being that you guys are out of the U.S. Open Cup, is there a bit of relief that you guys have a little bit more rest than some of the teams that are playing it a little bit more or other tournaments while we get towards the nitty-gritty of scheduling and the end of the season and then making a playoff run? And my second one, can you just speak a little bit about the crowd and the culture that you've seen, especially at the Derby, from, the fans?
Yeah, well, starting with your second question, you see how the atmosphere and the excitement and the engagement of the fans was in the derby. You would like to play a derby or a home game every week because that was intense and we enjoyed it very much. Getting back to your first part of your question, yeah, well, it's a hard one to answer. So I'm not quite sure how I should address that one. It's a tricky one. So maybe if you ask the question like a slightly different way, maybe it's better for me to answer.
Okay.
We can come back to you, George.
Okay. Let me think about this.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll go over to Chris.
Hey, Coach, Chris Campbell from the outfield. Just looking to see if you can give an availability update for Sunday, and then also if you can give some more specifics on Malachi's, recovery, how he's doing, how he's progressing, and when we can expect him, back in training. Thanks.
Unfortunately, Malachi is still busy with his rehab, but it's going really, really well. So how far he is in his rehab is hard to say, but he is doing a lot more than at least, well, what was it, like 2 to 3 weeks ago? So he's progressing really well. The other player who's not available is Kevin O'Toole. He has some minor issues with some knee ligaments, so he will be out for this game. And we still have to make some decisions on Keaton Parks and Andreas Pereira.
Michael, Ender?
Pascal, it's Mike Ander from Blue City Radio. Thanks as always for the time.
You're welcome.
When we entered May, there was a lot of concern of the congestion of the schedule. Mm-hmm. Now that you have 2 weeks or 2 games left in the month, how would you categorize it? Would you give it a letter grade, or do you think it was what's your thoughts on the month?
Well, as your colleague asked me just now, what does it make you feel like being out of the Open Cup? I can be really clear, so I'm not gonna try to twist or turn it in some kind of direction where I don't feel comfortable with. Being out of the Open Cup, that hurts because we would rather play as many matches as possible. So we dealt with the midweek game in Pittsburgh. When I think about it, it still hurts. But on the other hand, we have to move on and make sure that the next performance is good again. So I'm not happy with the schedule as it is now. But on the other hand, it gives you more opportunities to train and create more training moments in order to become that better team that we're looking for.
Michael Allen.
Hi, Coach. Yeah, Michael Allen from Pro Soccer and Blue City Radio. Just sort of following up on that question there, you said after the Red Bull match that you were excited to see if the team is going to be consistent against Chicago, if you could keep up that level of play. Is there something that you're implementing in training sessions this week or something like that to sort of ensure that consistency, or is it just repetition? Anything new you've introduced?
Yeah, it's a combination of both because 70 to 80% is repetition always. We're aiming for a lot of flexibility in the way we play in and out of possession. But on the other hand, you have to also respect the fact that you play a different opponent than Red Bull. So the approach and their game model and their strategy is different compared to Red Bull, Chicago that is. So we have to take that also in consideration and make sure that we are prepared for what we think will be their plan.
Christian.
Hi, Pascal. Just building off that, you've talked about that search for consistency. How can a win against a rival like that in what is a high pressure environment serve you in that pursuit of consistency?
Yeah, it helps for sure. On the other hand, that game has been played already, so it doesn't give you any guarantees for the next game. We had our review like we always do. We had a good look at what happened against Red Bull and the way it happened. Make sure we take out the positives from that game and make sure we're aware of the things that need to be addressed and need to improve, and then get ready for the next game.
And George, we'll go back to you.
Coach, you answered my question before, by the way. In your answer before, you answered the question. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, George.
Briefly, I just want to ask you, Matt Freese has worked really hard. I felt like over the past few years, he's been snubbed from on the U.S. national team. He got called twice out of the 2 out of the 3 last camps. Can you just talk a little bit about the work that he's made? And I feel he's obviously deserving of it. You see a lot more of him than I do.
Yeah, well, deserving to be picked for the national team or getting actually the pick to go to the national team is something completely separate from each other because he's my goalkeeper and I see him progress every day in several areas, and he shows that in the MLS as well. On the other hand, I'm not the national team coach, so he has to make his choices with his staff in order to get the best roster available. I just hope that Matt Freese will progress in the way that he's progressing at the moment. And when it's that time and he will get that moment with the national team, then it's up to him to make sure that he convinces the national team coaches to stay and stick with him. And I know for one thing for sure, Matt is working really, really hard on and off the pitch to make that happen. But the priority is now to keep the focus on his own dressing room. And if that goes well, the national team will follow itself.
Following up on that question, it looks like both Matt Freese and Alonso Martinez will be called up for the international breaks, but games in MLS will be played at that time. So you'll be without 2 of your key players, 2 of the best players on the team. What are your concerns for that?
Not really concerns. It's something that we have to deal with. Obviously, the calendar of the MLS is something that doesn't help because you lose your international players at these moments, but so do the other teams. And if we play against a team who's lost key pieces as well, they will also feel the pain of not having them available. For us, it's just as it is. We have to accept it and focus on the players that we do have in the squad and try to get that match done as best as possible.
Final one, we'll go with Mark.
Coach, you made some adjustments and tried a couple things for your back line the last couple months, and it looks to have finally settled. What role does Justin Hack play for you in that left center back spot?
That's a good question. Yeah, if you compare the season start when we went into the camps, we had a different back line at the time. And because of availability or injuries or whatever, things had to change. And that's why we have our training sessions. And then getting back to Justin, we've played with him in midfield in the beginning of the season. He dropped back in the back four, but he gives us the flexibility that we're looking for. So playing on the left side of Thiago, it looks good at the moment. It looks stable, decent, and it gives us the attacking threat on the ball, but it also gives us the defensive stability that we're looking for. But that is something that we work on really hard as a team, and Justin in particular. So I'm hoping to see his progression go forward as it is.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, I'm so happy for score, for sure, but especially for we win 3 points, so it's very important. We know the derby is special, but we are so happy for the 3 points and start to this line to win every game. Now we have in 2 days another game, so we need to go to the same mentality for try to win.
And the back line's your defense has relatively been unchanged the last couple games. Could you speak on what it means to have that kind of defense where you can rely on, who's going to be there behind you?
So we need to try when, especially they have the ball, try to defend together. So try to the team compact. So start to cross the line. We've scored many times to recover the ball quick and the transition to play forward. So this is we try to every game. So that's it. We try to the defend all together for win every single match.
Oliver?
Hi, Oliver Stern with Hudson River Blue. You've been playing with a midfield that has rotated a fair bit, and one of the players you've been playing a lot with is Johnny Shore, who I think is 20 years younger than you, so there's a big age difference. I'm wondering if you could tell us what you think of him as a player, and also what the dynamics are in a midfield right now, where you do have a lot of change. Last year it was keeping James Sands, you and Santi, but this year there's a lot of rotation.
Yes, Johnny, for us it's important, stronger player, but he have a lot of quality. Now we play a lot of game, so play very well. So for us it's important, for sure we have to help him to separate he's the younger player, so we know take the responsibility for him. So after that the coach decide who play. We stay every single player who stay here can to play the star 11 on the bench, can go in. So, but especially Johnny is he's very good job, and for sure it's an amazing player.
Miles?
Miles Bolton, AM New York. How has it been playing with Aiden O'Neill so far?
Yeah, he have no long time with us, but he still the last game play amazing. So he's a experienced guys. He have a national team, Euro team. So for us it's important. So we try to help him to adapt in our system, our team. So for sure he have had time for try to play much better every game. So we try to help, and for sure for us it's important player, and that's it. So we try to help.
Onto the Zoom, we'll go with Michael Ender.
Maxi, it's Mike Ender from Blue City Radio. Thank you for the time. One of the things that coach has said is that the team is struggling to be consistent. If the team is struggling to do the same thing every time, then you must change something every week to try to get that consistency. Do you know what you're trying to change every week to get the team to play more consistently?
Yeah, we know we are up and down. So in especially the last 4 or 5 games, we try to win every single game. Sometimes we can, sometimes no. Especially we know with against Montreal we play bad. So but we still win to Cincinnati. It's an amazing game for us. We win. Philly also. But this league it have that one. Sometimes we play with the big team in the league and we win. You play against the last one and lose. So this is a difficult way to have this league. So try to start now the last week to stay consistent in this line to the win game. So, but now we have the derby win. It's important. The atmosphere is good. So try to. I tell so win the next game. After that, against Houston, try to the same.
George?
Maxi, ¿cómo estamos? Grande gol contra Red Bull en el derby. Usted sabe, es un gran parte de la historia de este equipo y de este club. Usted ha visto mucha gente entrar y salir de diferentes niveles, ¿no? Y muchachos también. ¿Puede dar un poco lo que usted ve ahora diferente con este equipo que usted está con ahora? Con maybe que el que ganó, el que estaba en el equipo hace un año. ¿Qué diferencia ha visto usted?
Sí, hace mucho tiempo que estamos acá y la verdad que bueno, siempre, cada año, siempre viene gente nueva a ayudar, gente que se va. Es muy difícil decirte algo que cambió. Sin duda, este año con un nuevo entrenador que recién está empezando a conocer la liga, nosotros también a él, tratar de asimilar lo que él busca. Eh, y bueno, adaptarse a lo nuevo, a las nuevas maneras, que es normal cuando viene gente nueva. No han venido muchos cambios como jugadores, pero los que han venido han ayudado muchísimo y espero que sigan así. Así que esperemos tratar de encontrar rápido bueno, para tener la consistencia que hablaba anteriormente, de seguir en la senda ganadora y tratar bueno, de siempre estar ahí arriba en los primeros puestos, que es lo que buscamos.
Chris?
Hey, Maxi, it's Chris Campbell from the outfield. We have two other young Argentinian players on the team, Agustino Heda and Julian Fernandez, and you've been spending a lot more time playing with them this season. And also based on social media posts from the club, looks like you're spending a lot of time with them off the field too. Just wondering to see if you could talk about your relationship with those two and how you're encouraging their development as young players. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. We are the same country, so it's important for me. Help him and Julian Trapito. They are younger too, so we need somebody with experience, especially. So my role is the same every year. So help the guys, and try to adapt the more quick as possible, and especially when move another league, another country, move to here. So it's difficult. I pass it when I come here. So that one. Inside the field, outside the field, the same. So for sure, are so close to them, but every single player who come another league play to here, I try to help upside inside the field.